Unit 13. Performance of contract of sale of goods. Question number 1. What do you mean by performance of contract of sales? The performance of a contract of sale refers to the fulfillment of obligations by both the buyer and seller as agreed upon in the contract. This includes the transfer of ownership and delivery of goods in exchange for payment. For example, when a buyer pays for a laptop and the seller delivers the laptop to the buyer's address. Question number 2. What is delivery of goods? Explain the various kinds of delivery of goods. Delivery of goods involves transferring possession of the goods from the seller to the buyer. Various kinds of delivery include actual delivery, symbolic delivery, and constructive delivery. For instance, handing over the keys to a car is actual delivery, or transferring documents representing ownership is symbolic delivery. Question number 3. Give the rules regarding delivery of goods briefly. Rules regarding delivery of goods include the seller's duty to deliver the goods, the buyer's duty to accept delivery, and the place and time of delivery as specified in the contract. Additionally, the mode of delivery and who bears the expenses of delivery are important considerations. Question number 4. What is acceptance of delivery? Under what circumstances the buyer is considered to accept the goods? Acceptance of delivery occurs when the buyer receives the goods and signifies their satisfaction with them. Circumstances where the buyer is considered to accept the goods include express acceptance, implied acceptance through actions, or acceptance by failing to reject within a reasonable time. Question number 5. Explain the rights of the buyer. The rights of the buyer include the right to goods that conform to the contract, the right to reject non-conforming goods, the right to claim damages for breach of contract, and the right to specific performance if the seller fails to deliver. Question number 6. Explain duties of the buyer. The duties of the buyer include accepting delivery of goods, paying the price as per the contract, and taking reasonable care of the goods until the transfer of ownership. Question number 7. Who is an unpaid seller? An unpaid seller is a seller who has not received the full payment for the goods sold, or who has received payment in a manner not recognized by law. Question number 8. Explain the rights of unpaid seller. The rights of an unpaid seller include the right to withhold delivery until payment is made, the right to stop goods in transit, the right to resell the goods, and the right to sue for the price of the goods. Question number 9. Discuss the remedies of an unpaid seller under the Indian Sale of Goods Act. Remedies of an unpaid seller under the Indian Sale of Goods Act include suing for the price of the goods, suing for damages for non-acceptance, exercising the right of alien or retention, and reselling the goods after giving notice to the buyer. Question number 10. How stoppage in transit is affected? Stoppage in transit under the Indian Contract Act allows a seller to regain control of goods while they are in transit to the buyer. It occurs when the buyer becomes insolvent or fails to pay, giving the seller the right to halt the delivery. The process involves the seller intercepting the goods before they reach the buyer's possession. For example, if a buyer declares bankruptcy before receiving the goods, the seller can stop the goods in transit and reclaim possession. Question number 11. What is an auction sale? Explain the rules of auction sale. An auction sale is a public sale where goods or property are sold to the highest bidder. In such sales, the auctioneer facilitates the bidding process, and the highest bid at the fall of the hammer typically secures the sale. Rules of auction sale include the auctioneer's discretion in setting starting prices, the right of the seller to set a reserve price, and the requirement for bids to be accepted promptly. For example, bidding on rare coins at an auction house where the highest bid wins the item. Question number 12. What is damping? Damping under the Indian Contract Act refers to the practice of selling goods or commodities at prices below their normal value. This is often done to eliminate competition or to gain control over the market. While not explicitly prohibited under contract law, damping can raise concerns about fair competition and anti competitive behavior. Example: a large corporation selling its products at significantly reduced prices to undercut smaller competitors and dominate the market. Damping is also an unlawful act by which an intending purchaser is prevented from bidding or raising the price at an auction sale. Usually, it is done in any of the following ways: pointing out defects before the auction, taking the intending purchasers away from the place of auction by some other means. Happy learning!